Okay, so let me share. The Saturday session where we are discussing chapter by chapter. So I know this is a special weekend. So today is auspicious. As per ISKCON calendar, we have tomorrow the Shara. But I think outside it is there today. So wishing you all a happy Krishna conscious Dashera. This is a very, very auspicious day in many ways. The most important being that Lord Ram, killed Ravana on this day and attained the victory. So it basically emphasizes on establishment of dharma. Various Lord has taken various forms to establish dharma. We know in Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that yadayadahi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata. So whenever there is a decline of dharma, Lord, appears, and Lord Ramchandra is the, very, very ideal, incarnation of the Lord, where he, shows us how you can be a good son, how you can be a good king, how you can be a good husband. Everything is so ideal. That's why we call him Maryada Puruṣa-sūkta. So let's pray at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, Sri Lord Ramchandra, to bless all of us with the same values, the same dharma which he established. And we should pray at the lotus feet of the Lord that just by chanting his name, we can achieve the perfection in this life itself. So, so on this auspicious day, we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are discussing second canto, 6th chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum nangayate girim yatkapadam vande Shri Guru Din Dharanam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthapurva Srimate Jai Pataka Swami Nitanamini Namachara Padaya Nidaya Kripa Pradayani Gaura Katadam Dayana Karaka. So we are discussing the important section of creation of the universe. So in last 2 sessions, we have seen that we had 2 weeks back, we had Mahaprem Prabhu's session where Mahaprem Prabhu was explaining the 4th chapter of 2nd canto, where Shukdev Goswami is offering the prayers to Lord Krishna, before even talking about the creation of this material world, which is very, very difficult to understand. And in last chapter, Mataji very nicely she explained that how Lord, how Narad questions his father, Lord Brahma, that how this creation happens, because he is and he puts in a very nice way that first glorifying Lord Brahma, and he just says that after that he asks, okay, how do you create it? And then when Lord Brahma says that I just create whatever is there, it's already there, I just create it again. And we'll see that I've tried to create some of, because there is a very this chapter is actually continuation of previous chapter, and specifically about Virat Rupa, or universal form. So I will start with that famous story, the cobbler and the banyan tree. So we all, most of you are attending the Bhakti Rikshas. We very often share the stories, but it's a nice story to understand that how great is the Supreme Lord. So there was a cobbler. So there were once Narad Muni, was going, and he saw one cobbler who was busy in his work, sitting under a banyan tree. And he asked, so Narad Muni, so I'll keep the story short, that he asked, Narad Muni says that I'm going to see Lord Narayana, so why don't you do you want to ask something? And cobbler says that yes, if I just want to know that when will I come back to go back to Vaikuntha. So he says, okay. And then same way he meets another Brahmana who he asks the same question, do you want to ask something? So he says, okay, let me know, when will I go back to Vaikuntha? So when this, Lord, I'm sorry, Narad Muni, he goes and meets Lord Vishnu. He asks the same question, that, okay, after doing everything formalities, he asked this, okay, I met one cobbler and Brahmana. So whom do you, they want to know when will they come back. So they told that cobbler will come back in this life itself. Brahmanas will still take a lot of time. So he says, how is it possible? Because Brahmana is following all the religious principles properly. So, can you, so he told, okay, you do one thing, that, when you go and meet them, you just tell them, you will meet them and you will get the answer to a question. So, he goes and first meets Brahmana, and he says that, did you get the answer to my question? He said that, yes, I got the answer. So, you will take these things many lives to go back. So he said, okay, can you please tell me what was, Lord Vishnu doing? So he told that, Lord Vishnu was trying to put elephant from the needle of, from the end of needle, what do you call that? Needle hole. So that Brahmana starts laughing. Oh, that's why, how will I know you are giving that answer? When will I go? You have not met Lord Narayana. You are just bluffing. He laughs and he goes from there. Then the Narad Muni goes to the cobbler and he says that, okay. So cobbler asks, what was Lord Narayana doing? So he says that, Lord Narayana is trying to put, elephant in the hole of a needle, so immediately that cobbler starts glorifying Lord Narayana. Oh, see, Lord Narayana is so glorious and he is so magnanimous and he can do this thing. So he says that, Narad Muni says, you're not suspicious. How is it possible that, an elephant can be put into a needle hole of a needle? And then the cobbler says, how is it? What is so strange about it? Because, see, I'm sitting below a banyan tree and there are so many, banyan tree. If you see, there is no starting, no end, And just from a seed which falls down from the tree, that, then another tree comes. And how is it not possible that Lord can put, into, elephant into the cobbler? He can create from one seed, he can create the whole, such a huge banyan tree which has no end, no starting. So how is it impossible? So then immediately Narad Muni understands that, this person faith is very, very strong. He understands the supremacy uh, you know, of the Lord. And the point which I'm trying to make through this story is that, sometimes when we are reading all these creation and how the creation of the universe happened, material world happened, and, some things look very, very unrealistic. It may look, oh, how is it possible? It's something like because we have a very, very narrow vision at the moment. It's something like I always give this example that, just assume you are an ant. And many times when we are sitting in open place or in our houses, also, sometimes ants will come and they start climbing on our skin, and so just imagine when they are walking on our skin, when they will be going through the hands, they will say, oh, this is some, in between they will have our nerves on, will they will climb up, climb down, then they will go into our skin here, and they must be thinking, oh, this is a forest. And so kind of it's just fascinate me. I always, being a child, I used to get fascinated by this, that what an ant must be thinking when she's climbing on our body, and she must be thinking she's going somewhere, this thing. But we, being a human being, we know, oh, ant is so small, she's just, so we'll just with our hand, just we will move it, and ant will fall down. So ant will again go to the ground, and she will again start walking. So she will think, oh, I've reached somewhere. Now I don't know where I started from, where I've come. Again, she will start the journey. We all are like that, because with our limited vision, limited intelligence, we are trying to understand the Lord. So with that, it may not look, it may look something, oh, it's like, it's not practically possible. How is it happening? So, but Bhagavad Gita is the, very clearly Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhu mattah sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material words. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. If you see the introduction of Bhagavad Gita also, Prabhupada writes this statement. When I first time read this Bhagavad Gita introduction, I just got fascinated by this statement, that where Prabhupada is saying that even if you believe that, even if you don't believe that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, read Bhagavad Gita with that understanding, then only Bhagavad Gita will be revealed to you. Otherwise, we will just read like a normal, scriptures, normal like any other material book. We will try to, understand, and we will not be able to this thing. So, if these kind of statements in 7 chapters, 7 shloka, Krishna says, "Matta paratram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya, mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani ganaiva." O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as the pearls are strung on a thread. So Krishna is the source of everything. So that's why when we read Bhagavad Gita, that by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, because in the starting of Bhagavad Gita itself, Prabhupada is establishing the fact that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he nicely makes up our mind before we even read the first chapter. Before that introduction itself, Prabhupada is talking of this. And why Krishna is supreme also, he talks about all this. So Krishna is, Srila Prabhupada is very, I would say, and I'm not getting there, very, I don't know, smartly is the right word, but he has put it in a very, easier way for us, that we start Bhagavad Gita with the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Bhagavad Gita, when we read, there are so many people who read Bhagavad Gita, but they are not able to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, or in that case, Srimad Bhagavatam also. So, because they are trying to understand through their intellect. But Lord cannot be understood with the intellect. Lord can be understood only by bhakti, only by devotional service. Okay, so previous chapter when Anu Mataji took, and the chapter title was Cause of All Causes. This chapter, 6 chapters named as Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed. So can anybody tell me who is Purusha?
Krishna. Krishna is
Purusha, prabhuji.
Krishna is Purusha. Oh, no, I was not asking. Oh, okay, we being devotee, all of us, we know Krishna is Purusha. But what is the literary meaning of the word Purusha?
the man. Man.
Purusha, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Man we use in the day-to-day this thing, but any other literary meaning anybody knows?
Prabhu is controller.
Controller.
All attractive. All attractive.
All attractive. Okay. So I think I'm not sure who told controller.
Hare
So,
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Panch Mahabhutas.
Panch Mahabhutas. Okay. So I think the literary meaning of Purusha, thanks everybody for answering. So Purusha actually literally means is the controller. So why this chapter is named as Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed, and what is Puruṣa-sūkta, we will cover in few minutes, because it is as we know the context. 2 weeks back we heard Mahaprabhu Prabhu what he told. Last week Anu Mataji told that how this creation is, how is Virat Rupa, all that is being talked. Suddenly where the Puruṣa-sūkta came, we don't know. So we'll try to understand this. So in previous little bit of recap what Anu Mataji last week she covered. So in this 5th chapter, 6 questions were asked by Narad Muni to Lord Brahma. So he asked Yad Rupam, what is the characteristics of universe? Yad Adhishtanam, what is the shelter? Yataha Shrishtham, how it is created. Yat Samstham, how is it conserved? Yat Param, what it depends upon. And Yat Cha, what it is composed of. So in this 5th chapter, 3 questions were answered. Yad Rupam, Yad Adhishtanam, Yat Srishtam. So in 14th, shloka of, this thing, Lord Brahma was actually explaining this. Dravyam karma cha kalascha swabhavo jiva evacha vasudevat paro brahman na chanyo artho asti tattvataha. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, the intuition or the nature of the individual, which is Subhava, are all differentiated part and parcel of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. And in truth, there is no other value in them. So the 5 components of this universe, which is Dravya, Karma, Kala, Subhav, and Jiva. So this thing, what is the base of all this? It is base of all this is, Lord Narayana. So this is just I have. So basically, what is Dravya? Dravya is the gross elements, as Sumit Prabhu was saying, that, Panchabhutas, they are the gross elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then Kala is time. Karma means the previous activities of the, jivas. So Bhava means previous desires or the, tendencies, intuitions. And Jiva is the living entity. So last week, I remember Manibhushan Prabhu had asked this question that, what happens to the, these living entities where they, what happens to their previous karmas, their desires. So they all actually, when the creation of the universe starts, so all the living entities, when the pralaya happens, they all enter into the, body of Lord Vishnu. And, and then when the, when Lord Narayana exhales, so all the universes come out, and then all universes are, so that we are reading how the universes are created and all that. So all jivas, with their karmas, with their subhava, with the influence of time, and with the help of gross elements, they are created. That's what Anu Mataji was explaining last time, that how living entities are created. So source of everything is what? Vasudeva. So if you see Lord Brahma, when he is explaining how the creation is happening, he will explain now then the little bit of creation and Virat Rupa will come in further chapters. Then it will come in third chapter, third canto also. Kapil Dev will explain. That time also this Virat Rupa and creation will come. So at many places in Srimad Bhagavatam, this creation has been explained. So yat adhishtanam, yat param means what is the shelter and what it's the ultimately it depends upon. That question was answered in 5th chapter, 16th and 17th shloka. Narayana paraveda, Deva Narayana Narangajaha, Narayana paraloka, Narayana paramakaha, Narayana paro yogo, Narayana param tapaha, Narayan param jnanam, Narayan param gati. So the Vedic, I think next there is. So what is the source of Vedas? What is the source? Veda means knowledge. Gati means ultimate goal. Jnana, tapa, yoga. Maka means sacrifices. Loka means all the various lokas. Devatas, demigod. So what is the source of all that, or what is the ultimate shelter of all that? The shloka says that Narayana is the source of everything. So, although Lord Brahma is explaining the creation, but in between he keeps reminding everything. Okay, so source of everything is Narayana. So don't get misled by, because I created, Lord Brahma is saying, I created. Don't think I am the creator. Ultimate creator is who? Lord Narayana. So further in 5th chapter, so Brahma, so what does Brahma do then? Then question may come that, okay, what? So Brahma is answering that also. He's saying that I am created. Brahma answers, I am created by him only, Lord Narayan, and I only create, which is already created by him. So there is something called Sarga, there is something called Visarga. Sarga means creation, primary creation, and Visarga is secondary creation. So primary creation is done by Lord Narayana, and secondary creation under the instruction of Lord Narayana, Brahma does. The transcendental Lord accepted 3 gunas through Maya Shakti just for the sake of creation, maintenance, and destruction. These 3 gunas binds the jiva, and jiva cannot see the Lord due to being covered by these gunas. So what Lord Brahma is saying is that, don't think that when Lord is creating, he is becoming part of these 3 gunas. He manages these 3 gunas through Maya Shakti. For the sake of creation, maintenance, and destruction, Lord Narayana is doing, but he is doing through his energy. He is not bound. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that I am not affected by these 3 gunas. But we jivas, we are under the influence of 3 gunas. That's why we are not able to understand the Lord. So if we want to understand the Lord, what we have to do is we have to transcend these 3 gunas. And chanting the holy name or the devotional service is the only way we can understand. Okay, we'll further this point will come again. Who is Purusha? So in material world also, we see that male and female unite and then the procreation happens. So Purusha means, as somebody told, the man, and Prakriti is female. So male and female aspects of this thing, they unite and say they create a further. Same way, the Purusha glances over the material nature. So there are 3 Purushas which are explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. One is Karno Dakshai Vishnu. So actually this creation, I think last week, Anumataji had, unfortunately I didn't have enough time to put those pictures, but they very nicely they depict. But anyway, for higher level, we can understand that Krishna expands himself into Mahavishnu. Of course, there are certain stages in between where he takes the Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva. He extends. So this quadruple expansion happens. But for the understanding, keeping it simple, we can say that, okay, from Krishna comes Mahavishnu, who is none other than, also referred as Karno Dakshaya Vishnu. So from Karno Dakshaya Vishnu, unlimited universes come out. Then, for each universe, there is Lord Karno Dakshaya Vishnu expands himself in Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu. And he enters into each of these unlimited universes. And then Lord further, Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu further expands himself into Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu. And Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu enters into each and every atom and living entity as Paramatma. So at higher level, many of you, if you read Krishna book in the starting introduction, Prabhupada is explaining about, different. So they are known as Purusha avataras. So ultimately they are, so for example, Karnodaksha Vishnu is the controller of all the universes. Garbhodaksha is maintainer of all that particular universe, and Karnodaksha Vishnu is the controller of that each an atom and each living entity of that. So to understand, that's why these are called as Purusha Avatara, because they are controller in this thing. So Prabhupada writes at n number of places that we are living entity is Prakriti, because we are born in a male body, some of us, so we may think I am Purusha, but only Purusha is Krishna only, because without him nothing can move, without him nothing can happen. So that's why that Purusha is, this word is important. So we'll further go down when we talk about Puruṣa-sūkta, what is there. So yataha srishtam, how it is created. So karnau dakshaya Vishnu glances the material word, which is called pradhana. So there are two words which are very often used in our, Prabhupada also used at many places, pradhan and mahatattva. So pradhan is nothing but the modes of material nature, or three gunas or material nature in the inactive state. But once Lord glances over the pradhan, the three guna become active. And that time, this pradhan is known called as mahatattva. So pradhan is nothing but the pradhan and mahatattva both are material nature only, but only the difference is that pradhan is not active, where it is the inactive state, and mahatattva is the active state. And then last week, Anu Mataji had nicely explained how I will not going in detail, but how these three guna mix with ahankara, and then, different things are created. For example, when ahankara mix with sattva guna, then mind and devatas for 10 senses are created. When ahankara mix with rajoguna, prana and 10 senses are created. And when ahankara mix with tamoguna, the 5 tannamatra, which is the sense objects, and 5 elements are created. So in Bhagavad Gita and many other places, different number of elements are given. Sometimes it is given 24, sometimes it is said 23, sometimes it is, given, only 11, because 5, three subtle elements, which are mind, intelligence, and ego, 5 gross elements, earth, water, air, fire, ether, and 5 Gyanendriya, which is ear, eyes, skin, nose, tongue, and 5 karmendriyas, hands, feet, voice, anus, and genitals. And 5 sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste, this thing. They are in unmixed state, these 24 elements. So Prabhupada actually in Bhagavad Gita, at one place he explains this, that, at some places you will be getting 24 elements are explained, some places 20 elements are explained. So the proper understanding is that there are 24 elements of material nature, and they are in the unmixed state. They are called pradhan, and when they are, so Maya Shakti assembles them all after the glance of Karnodaksha Vishnu. Then what happens is, then Karnodaksha Vishnu expands himself into Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and he enters into each of the universe which are floating. This is a translation from that shloka, that which are floating in for thousands of years in causal ocean, and assumes Virat Rupa. So Virat Rupa is one word which is used in our scripture at many places. We know one of the Virat Rupa which we see in Bhagavad Gita when we read. We also know that Virat Rupa in Mahabharata also, when Krishna, of course Gita is part of Mahabharata, when Krishna went for the, to Duryodhana for peace, what do you call it, peace talk. So that time, also he had shown one Virat Rupa. So Virat Rupa is a very, very universal form in English. It is called, is very, it looks very, confusing, because description of Virat Rupa is different in different places. So with that Virat Rupa different description, what we are reading now in this fifth chapter is different from what we have read in Bhagavad Gita. Those who have read Bhagavad Gita will know. It is explained in a totally different way. So, and then when you read, when Duryodhana saw Virat Rupa, then itself is just a little different. So what is this Virat Rupa? So is Virat Rupa an imagination? Who will say, is Virat Rupa an imagination? Yes or no? Who will answer?
It's materially only it is there, Prabhu. It is not imagination, but it's a material world, it is there.
Okay. Thanks, Prabhu. Anybody else? So Virat Rupa universal form, is it an imagination or is it really is there? So Lord Brahma explains this point very clearly in this thing. He says, great philosopher, imagine that the complete planetary system is in the universal are the displays of different upper and lower limbs of the universal body of the Lord. And what I've written down, it is from the purport of this shloka, where Prabhupada is saying, the word kalpayanti, imagine, is significant. The Virat universal form of the Absolute is an imagination of the speculative philosophers who are unable to adjust to the eternal two-handed form of Lord Krishna. Although this universal form, as imagined by great philosophers, is one of the features of the Lord, it is more or less imaginary. It is said that 7 upper planetary systems are situated above the waist of the universal form, whereas the lower planetary systems are situated below the waist. The idea impressed herein is that the Supreme Lord is conscious of every part of his body, and nowhere in the creation is there anything beyond his control. So what do you understand from this? Anybody would like to say? What do you understand from what is that Prabhupada is saying here? Any comments?
Prabhuji, the understanding is it's an imagination done by people who are mainly speculative in nature.
Okay. Anything else? Thanks,
प्रभु
Prabhu.
जो भगवान के जो टू हैंडेड फॉर्म को नहीं देख पाते और वो मतलब वो देखना चाहते हैं कि भगवान को चैलेंज करते हैं, तो उसके लिए भगवान विराट रूप दिखाते हैं अपना.
So basically what Prabhupada is, thank you, Mataji. So the point here is that, okay, even if it is an imagination, but that does not mean that Lord is not, so it is, one way it is imagination, at the same time it's not an imagination also in the sense because Lord is conscious of each and every part of this thing. And creation is not out of control of the Supreme Lord. So he's the controller. So he's really Purusha. So he he knows what's happening in this creation. So in one way it is, but one way it is not. But ideally speaking, yes, as Prabhupada is very clearly saying, as Rashika Prabhu was told, that this is purely created for the people who are not able to visualize Lord in his original two-arm form. So, and this is told by Brahma. It's not that Prabhupada has put it, because many times people question, Prabhupada. But this is the translation which is given here is what Lord Brahma is saying. Because some of the people who are speculative, who are trying to understand, the Lord through the knowledge of the scripture. Now the question may come: if it is imaginary, then why it is given? Why Lord Brahma is giving this? That is the beauty of our, scriptures. That our scriptures has scope for everybody. But many people say, "Oh, Sanatan Dharma." Some people keep fighting. Some are Shaivas, some are Vaishnavas, some are Shaktas, some are Advaitavadis, and like that. So the point here is that our scripture has scope. That's why it is Sanatan Dharma. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam satya bhajamyam. Whatever is your level of surrender, whatever you want to look, our scripture will offer you that okay, this is there. At least you try to come. See, Lord mercifully, He just wants us to come back. So in whatever way you want, you just read the scriptures and try to this thing. People who don't want to imagine this thing, they will read the scriptures, and there are shrutis, there are smritis, there are itihasas. So people, according to their interest, they will go and read and accordingly this thing. But a person who is intelligent, he already knows. See, for example, we have this whenever we are in 9, 10th, 11th, 12th. So there are NCERT books, right? So some people say that Shruti are the only, Shruti means Vedas and Upanishads are the only person, real this thing. People like Arya Samajis and all that, they don't believe that Shrutis are the, so they say that, okay, Smriti is, which like Puranas and all that has been written later. So, it's something like, we have NCERT book, right? In NCERT book, we read, when we were reading, sometimes the statements are very, very vague and very, very open-ended. So what we do is we go to the market, we buy various references books, and then what happens is through reference. So reference books are what? There is some writer who has, has experience of many years, and he has understood, oh, the physics, this law is like that. So he will give the examples, he will give the theorem, he will this theorem works, and everything he will explain. Same way, all these sages and all, they have realized the knowledge by realization. So knowledge plus realization are these smritis actually, and they are historical incidents. So people who don't accept Puranas as the this thing, so they are doing a very much disfavor, or what do you call that word, disfavor to themselves, because they are missing the real essence of this thing, of these scriptures. Anyway, so then last time Manu Mataji had explained that in fifth chapter, this universal form or Virat Rupa is explained in certain shlokas. So she also told that Satyaloka is represented by head, Tapaloka by breast, lips, Janaloka neck, Maharloka chest, Swargloka heart, Bhuvarloka navel to heart, Bhurloka navel, Atala, Vitala, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. So these are the 40 planetary systems which are represented by the body of the the Supreme Lord Narayana. Then in another shloka, there is a different perspective to this universal form. So this universal form is based on the Brahmana, this different varnas. So Brahmanas come from mouth, Kshatriya comes from arms, Vaishyas comes from thigh, Shudra comes from leg. So what people has done is they have interpreted this in a totally different way. That, oh, Shudras are coming from the, so that's why you see all these people who are so-called, anti-religion or whatever you call them. They uses this and they incite, they provoke those people. Oh, see, they are telling you are coming. So, but we all know Chaturvarnya Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhag. It is according to Guna and Karma. So it is just they represent how they are coming. So that does not mean anybody coming from the leg is lower. It doesn't, because Lord is supreme. So his Prabhupada actually explained in many places in the books that Lord's mouth is is non-different from Lord's hand. And Lord in purports Prabhupada right said Lord does not need to eat with the hand whenever we offer. Lord, just by glancing over the food which we are offering to the Lord, just Lord can accept. So his senses are not like our senses. His whole body is any portion of the body, we all are coming from that same body. It's just a manifestation which has been explained. Another distinct imagination, or another aspect of that, which was of course was in previous shloka, is I think in 38 shloka or something. It was Swaraloka, chest to navel, Bhuvarloka navel, and Bhurloka, which is lower planetary, 3 planetary system. It has been divided. So now this chapter 6, and to keep a trap on the eye on the time. So Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed. Now the chapter, so Puruṣa-sūkta are certain prayers which are there in the Rig Veda, and they are later repeated in many of the other scriptures also. And one of the famous shloka which you must have, many of us must have heard, is Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasra Aksha Sahasra Pad Sa Bhumin Vishwato Vritva Atyatistad Dash Angulam. So like that, there are certain, these shlokas are there, which are very prominent. And anybody of you have attended any of these, homas and all that, you will very often see these shlokas are being. So these shlokas are actually from Rig Veda. But the only difference is that in Rig Veda, this is Purusha word is not explained who is Purusha. It is open-ended. So then what happens is even chefs and even, this thing, all of them, they like this shloka very much because it is open-ended, because it's not testing. So what's happening now in this chapter, that it is being confirmed that who is Purusha. So that's why Prabhupada has named this chapter as Puruṣa-sūkta, confirmed. Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed. So whatever Puruṣa-sūkta, there are various, actually, there are different shlokas, which are in Puruṣa-sūkta are literally more or less being used in this chapter. And one of the thing when I'll come down, I'll explain that. So now, Yacha, what is the universe confirmed? So in 6th chapter, first 16 shlokas, they talk about the continuation of Virat Rupa, which was there in the earlier section when Anu Mataji last time she was explaining that. So like, for example, in this first shloka, he says, mouth of Virat Rupa is what? Generating sources of voice, and presiding deity is fire. 7 dhatus are the source of 7 Vedic meters. So what are 7 dhatus? Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asthi, Macha, and Shukra. So these are the 7 dhatus which are explained in Ayurveda also. So what we are visualizing now, see what are these in the body of, Lord Narayana, these 7 dhatus, what they are source of what? 7 Vedic meters. Vedic meters are like Gayatri and all that. There are different meters in which we recite, right? Various mantras. So those Vedic meters are coming from the 7 dhatus of Lord Narayana. Tongue is the generative source of all the foodstuffs for all devatas, forefathers, and general masses. So tongue of the Lord is the source of all the footsteps for the devatas. And Prabhupada writes very nice point here. Since all the senses are produced by of the Lord's reservoir of the senses, the sensual activities of the material world are to be purified by the process of devotional service. And thus the perfection of life can be attained simply by purifying the present position of our material activities. And he quotes this shloka, Sarva Padir Vinirmuktam Tat Paritvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So he's saying that our senses are coming from the Lord's senses. So then the senses have to be used in the service of the Lord. Why you are using in this material pleasure? We will never get a material pleasure by these senses. So he's saying, Sarva Padre Vinamuktam, Tat Paritvena Nirmalam. Rishikesh, these senses has Rishikesh Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. These senses have to be used in the service of the Lord. See, these senses should be purified by engaging these in the service of the Lord. That's why devotional service is so glorious that we can, just by engaging our senses, see, we talk so much about sense control. Controlling senses is very difficult. What we have to do is engage the senses in the service of the Lord. That's why by chanting, by seeing the Lord, having darshan, by chanting, so like there are various processes. What we are trying to do is we are trying to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. And by that we can, So here the Prabhupada is trying to make a point. Boss, you have got these senses from Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. So better you use in the service of this thing and purify them. Don't just go ahead with the material enjoyment. Then next 15, 16 shloka. So this is the given. So 2 nostrils of the Lord is the generating source of breathing and all other airs. The smelling powers of the Lord is the source of Ashwini Kumaras and medical herbs. Breathing energies of the Lord is the different types of fragrances in this material world. Eyes is the source of all the kind of forms. Ears as the form is the source of sky and all kind of sounds. Body of the Lord is, all active principles which are there in this religious principles are the source of body. So body of the Lord is the source. Skin is the source of sense of touch and all kind of sacrifices. Hair on the body of the Lord is source of all the vegetation, trees. Hair on the head and beard are the sources of cloud. Nails are the source of lightning, minerals, and metals. Arms are the source of demigods and leaders of the masses who protect them. Forward steps are the sources of shelter of Bora Bhuvar and Swargaloka. And lotus feet is the shelter of protection from all the fear. Actually, if we want to understand Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, we should read Prabhupada purports. Prabhupada so nicely explains this. It is otherwise we just keep reading, and then we don't understand what is there. But Prabhupada giving such a nice, explanation to each important points. Then genitals of the Lord is the source of water, semen, generatives, rains, and procreators, Prajapatis. And Prabhupada writes this there. The sexual activities should be restricted to the procreation only. Only by the spiritual person can live a restricted sexual life. Otherwise, it is not possible. So unregulated sexual life is not is a very good thing. It's not a very good thing. So we should only way for us to restrict our unregulated sexual activities is by engaging into the spiritual activity. Otherwise, mind will go in all these things only. Okay. Then evacuating place of the Lord is the source of envy, misfortune, death, and hell. Back of the Lord is the source of frustration, ignorance, immortality. Veins is the source of river. Bones is the source of mountain. Belly is the source of ocean. Juices in food. Heart is the source of mind. Consciousness of the Lord is the source of religious principles for everyone. Truth and transcendental knowledge. So in further continuation, Lord Brahma is saying that, whatever, see, in this is a big translation of these 3-4 shlokas, beginning from me, Brahma, down to you and Bhava Shiva, all the great sages who are born before you, the demigods, demon, nagas, human beings, birds, beasts, as well as reptiles, and all phenomenal manifestation of the universe, namely the planet, star, asteroid, luminaries, lightning, thunder, and inhabitants of various planetary system, and other varieties of living entities, are all covered by the universal form of the Lord all the times, namely past, present, future. Although he is transcendental to all of them, eternally existing in the form is not exceeding the 9 inches. Now the question may come is, even that when we were reading that shloka, there is dash angulas are being used. So it is believed that in everybody's heart, Lord is existing as Paramatma in the 9-inch size, 9 angulas. Anguli means that 10 fingers or 10 inches. So just being in 10 inches, he can cover a whole universe also. So that is the point Brahma is trying to make. That although he is Virat, the source of everything, but he is existing in everybody else's this thing. So he is source of, then he tells the source of Brahma Jyoti, effulgence from his spiritual body like sun. Sun illuminates the whole universe. The effulgence of the spiritual body of the Lord illuminates the whole creation. So what is the source of sun's illumination is also Lord only. So not then in next 4 shlokas, Prabhupada, Lord Brahma talks about Ekapada Vibhuti and Tripada Vibhuti. We'll see. So then he says that not just the Lord of material world, he is not just the Lord of material world, but also the spiritual word, which is Amrita and Abhaya. Amrita means it doesn't die or it doesn't extinguish or whatever. It remains eternal. Abhaya means fearless. So spiritual word does not have any fear. So there he talks about some of the this thing. So we can see on your screen that manifestation of this thing, Ekapada Vibhuti means material word, Tripada Vibhuti means spiritual word. So material word is 1/4 of the creation of the Lord, and Tripad is 3/4 creation. Birth and death is present in the material word, in the spiritual word, it is not present. Residents, very nice word used by Brahma, that residents of material world residents are who? Grahamedhis, who are attached to the family. And Abhadra Vrata means those who cannot strictly follow the Vratas. But in Tripada Vibhuti, the spiritual word, the people have no death and they have no attachments also. Fear is present in material word, in spiritual words is absent. Forgetfulness is present because of ignorance. But in spiritual world, there is no ignorance. So there is no forgetfulness. Nature of the souls in this material world is they want to lord it over. But in spiritual world, everyone wants to perform devotional service. Anand is very limited in this material world, but is unlimited in this thing. So Brahma is also explaining this, how this difference between spiritual and material world. Then he says the jivas who are wandering on the path of enjoyment due to ignorance, and jiva filled with knowledge wandering on the path of liberation. Shelter of everything is Lord. Either you are jiva in this material world, or you are jiva who is, so basically nitya baddha or nitya mukta, whatever you are. Source is shelter of both of you is, both of them is Lord Narayana only. As Brahma gives the example that sun remains aloof from the sun rays, although being the source, same way Lord remains aloof of its ek-path creation and more interested in three-path creation. Brahma is making very striking statement. He's not interested in material creation. He is more interested in the spiritual world. So people who are there in material world, they are managed by the Maya Shakti, Maya of the Lord, external energy of the Lord. Lord is not directly interested in that. Only when we surrender to the Supreme Lord, then what happens is, Devi Yesha Gunmayi Mama Maya Duratya, Mamevi Prapadyante Maya Metam Taranti. Those people Krishna will help. And then, effect of Maya will be, which is initially the troubling, but then same energy of the Lord becomes helpful to us for a devotee. And then he will, that creation is, so Lord is more interested in his devotees. Lord is not interested in devotees. Okay. Then after that, in next 7-8 shlokas, Lord Brahma gives the, his experience, what happened when he, when he was born. So, he's explaining when I was born. This is the translation of some 6, 7, whatever, 8 shlokas. So here, Lord Brahma is, saying that how he got all the things which are required for the sacrifice. So various, like for example, he says the utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, gold, earth, water, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, all. So all of them were what was given by the Lord only. So I had to arrange all the necessary ingredients and paraphernalia for sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead. By the invocation of demigod's aid, the ultimate goal, Vishnu, was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering was complete. So where the ingredients of this thing came from? It came from Lord Narayana. And then in further 3-4 shlokas, he says that source of all of this is Lord Narayana only. All the material manifestation of the universes are therefore situated in his powerful material energies, which he accepts self-sufficiently, although he is eternally without the affinity of the material modes. By his will, I create, Lord Shiva destroy, and he himself in his eternal form as personality, Godhead, maintains everything. He is the powerful controller of all these 3 energies. My dear son, whatever you inquired from me, I have explained unto you. You must know for certain that whatever is, either is cause or the effect, both in material and spiritual world, is dependent on Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and then Prabhupada in this purport quotes the same important shloka. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. Either is cause or the effect in material world or spiritual world. Everything is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. And then in next 4-5 shloka, he says to the, Narad Muni, that is very difficult to understand, the Lord. He himself is saying, I cannot understand. So, O Narada, because I have caught hold of lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, with great zeal, whatever I say has never proven to be false, nor is the progress of my mind ever deterred, nor are my senses degraded by the temporary attachment to the mouth. Although I am known as the great Brahma, the perfect disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom, although I have undergone all the austerities and I am expert in mystic powers and self-realization, although I am recognized as such by the great forefathers of living entity who offer, still I cannot understand him, the Lord, the very source of my birth. So Prabhupada writes in purpose that Bhaktya Mam Avijanati. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, only my devotees can understand me. And this second point I had made, I liked it when I was reading the purport. It says, a grain of devotion is more valuable than a tons of faithlessness. Prabhupada makes very this thing. Even if we have little bit of devotion, it is much better than having that, total faithless life. Okay. And then his next 4-5 shlokas, we see that, so he is saying to Narada, therefore it is best for me to surrender unto his feet, who alone can deliver one from the miseries of repeated birth and deaths. Such surrender is all auspicious and allow one to perceive all happiness. Even the sky cannot estimate the limits of its own expansion. So what can others do when the Lord himself is unable to? So Lord himself doesn't know what is his this thing. That's what Brahma is saying. So, because surrendering process itself is bhava chiddam, liberation from all material miseries. Swasti ayanam, perception of all the happiness, and sumangalam, source of everything auspicious. So Lord is the source of all auspiciousness, all liberation, all happiness. Neither Lord Shiva nor you nor I could ascertain the limit of spiritual happiness. How can other demigods know? Because all of us are bewildered by the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord. We can so see only this manifested cosmos according to our own ability. And let's offer the respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of God, as whose incarnation and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though we can hardly fully know. So only way to know him is glorify the Lord. Chant the holy name of the Lord. That's why we do the chanting of the Lord. Why do we do the chanting? Somebody may ask, why do we do the chanting? So that we can understand the Lord. Otherwise, there is no Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only a devotee can understand. Nobody else can understand the Lord. Only by the mercy of the Lord, Lord can be understood. So that is a very important point. And then in a couple of next shlokas, the Lord is Lord Mahavishnu is glorified, and so so ultimately he says that everything, the source of everything is Lord Narayana. Okay. So what are the important points from this chapter? Lord Krishna is the source of everything. So we should not waste our time to understand the Lord by other speculative methods or yoga process, because even Brahma is saying that I'm not able to understand. So what are we? How can we understand the Lord with our limited abilities? But a devotee can easily understand the glories of the Supreme Lord by the mercy of the Lord and the spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is a self-realized soul. He's the close associate of the Lord. He can give. See, I always give this example that if we have to go and meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we may not have, we will go in his house also. If we stand there, the security walas will kick us out. They will not allow us. But assume we know the secretary in PMO, post Prime Minister's office, then can't we directly go? Although we have no ability or no qualification to go to the office of a Prime Minister, just because we know the secretary of PMO, we can get the interest there. So even if with our limited ability, we may say, oh, I cannot understand Lord. Anyway, I cannot understand Lord. Let's not try to understand only. That should not be our attitude. Our attitude should be, oh, I'll serve the spiritual master. He is Tattvadarshi, as in Bhagavad Gita. He has understood the Lord. He has seen the Lord. And, so by continuously engaging ourselves in the service of the Lord and the service of the pure devotees of the Lord, Lord will get revealed to us. So what we should do is always be in the association of the Lord, who are very dear to the Lord, and with simple heart, perform the devotional service. Being humble and being simple-hearted attracts the mercy of the Lord. So with the speculative, with knowledge and intellectual, I'm very intelligent, nothing is going to work. As we see this Virat Rupa also. So we cannot understand. Only by the mercy of the Lord, only by the mercy of his pure devotees, we can understand the Lord. As Narad Muni is trying to understand from Brahma. See, Brahma is explaining all the creation. It will continue further. Now in next chapter, we'll have interesting Leela Avtaras of the Lord is being explained, different incarnations. But the point here, he's again and again, he's saying, I cannot understand. I cannot explain you. Only, by the mercy of the Lord, only by his kripa, we can understand the Lord. Okay. So with that, I'll stop here. So anybody has any question or comments?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhu.
you so much for our wonderful class, Prabhu. That one question, Prabhu, that the continuation of the last class itself. So we heard about the two pralaya, right? One is the end of the day of Brahma, that is one pralaya, and 100 years of the Brahma is a Mahapralaya. That all the living entities go and rest on that Vishnu only, right? That is end of the pralaya. That is after the Mahapralaya or every pralaya also. How it is Prabhu?
So when this end of the day of Brahma, that is for particular universe, right? So that particular universe, Lord will, all the living entities and all the creation will go in the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and they will stay there. When Mahapralaya will happen, whole creation, then it will, everything will go into the Karnodakshaya Vishnu. And they will be only in the state of, what you say, inactive state, as we saw in the starting of this chapter, that, or it was last chapter actually. So that means it's just, all the karmas, so all the gross elements, karma, kala, everything goes into the, Lord's, body. And when Lord wants, they all come out of the, this thing, and they continue this thing from there. So not much difference in the aspect, because the Lord Narayan is one only. It's all he expends himself into, Karnodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. For the different functionalities, he expends himself. But everything it's like goes inside, stay there for some time, and then when Lord wants, it just comes out. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
And I think Bhaktika, okay, Anumata Shekhar Prabhu, you have any?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Prabhu, wonderful class. So, Prabhu, I want to ask, you told about Purusha, you were asking and also who is the controller. Then, I was little confused with that. It is told first Purusha incarnation, then second, then third. So, why, Prabhuji, it is explained like this, before that also Lord is the Purusha.
Correct.
So,
Ultimate Purusha is Lord Krishna.
okay, so his way of explanation is like that, it is divided into three parts.
Correct. So see, when we say Lord expand, Lord is not like us. No, ki hamara ek portion kaat ke bana diya, to then in that everything. See, Lord is Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Although the thing which is coming out of the Lord, it still Lord is complete. So you must have heard this plenary expansion. Prabhupada uses it very frequently. So what does that mean? Plenary expansion means that it is coming out of the Lord, but it is incomplete in its this thing. Lord Narasimha is coming out of Lord Krishna, but that does not mean that Lord Narasimha is the half of this thing and Lord Krishna is full. So so the point is that although the expansions are happening for certain functions or some purpose, but they are complete in themselves also. So I don't know what. So sorry, I missed the point. So your question is that how can there be so many Purushas?
No, Prabhuji, you told Lord is Purusha only, but you have told very nicely, we see in our studies also, classifications are there, no? So may have Lord has explained like that beautifully. And Prabhuji, one more question is there. Prabhuji, you were telling this about this expansion and all. So in that, when Lord Virat Rupa, you were telling it is imagination. So Lord, as
I say
Arjun
Brahma
have
said.
asked. Oh, yes, yes, Prabhuji. Like that only. So he's telling like that. So when Arjun demanded that, Lord, I want to see. So same whenever we are asking, so Lord is so merciful, so he will make us see that also, whatever we want to
Yeah, if Bhakta is sincere, he will show whatever Rupa you want. Deyatamam prapadyante. So whatever Rupa you want to see the Lord, you will see that only.
Okay, same like Hanumanji is asking, no, I want to see Ramchandra ji in Krishna. So whatever our where we are going, मतलब जो हमें जैसा दिखना है भगवान में तो भगवान वैसा हमें दिखाएंगे ऐसे.
Actually, in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Lord Krishna enters into the arena of Kamsa for the fight, and there is a very nice description that everybody is seeing Lord in a different way. For Kamsa, Lord is like Mrityu or death. For women, he is like, so beautiful, attractive. For men, he is like, his Sakha, he is a very soft person. So different, these Mathuravasis are seeing different, Brajvasis are seeing differently, and women are seeing different. Everybody is seeing the same Lord with a different, flavor in different way. So it's up to us, whatever we want to look at the Lord, whatever we want to look at this. So that's why our scriptures has given various options. You go, you want to go to demigods, you go. You will find some scriptures will glorify the demigods. You do this, Homa, you do Navgraha, you do this. So people keep on doing this, all this, so many things they keep on doing. So that way, your material desires temporarily get fulfilled. But when a pure devotee of the Lord, he just says that, okay, I just want, when what was that, that lady, who was hunchback, what was her name?
Kubja
Kubja,
Prabhuji.
Kubja. So Kubja, she was carrying the, sandal pulp for the Kamsa actually. But as soon as she saw the beautiful form of the Lord, Krishna and Balram, she took and she applied. And little service she did, immediately Lord blessed her with this very beautiful woman she became by pressing the toe, and she just pulled this thing. So, so this clearly shows that whatever our desires are, so Lord will accordingly, He will reciprocate. So if our desires are pure, that I just want to see the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna in his original form. As soon as, if you see in Bhagavad Gita, what happened? When the Virat Rupa was shown, after that, Arjuna got scared. He says, you come to your original form. So first he came in four-armed Narayan form. He says, no, I still want to see original form. Then he came, two-armed Lord Krishna form. Then only Arjuna became happy, because he is the close associate of the Lord. So in whatever form we want to see the Lord, Lord will reveal it to us. So better we, desire that, okay, I want to serve Krishna. And rather, we should not have any desire only. What we should do is, I want to do everything for your pleasure, O Lord Krishna. So whatever you give, so Lord will reveal at his will. If we will desire this thing, no, then what will happen is Lord will give that, and that lollipop he may give and he may go. So better we don't get satisfied with this. We leave it to Lord. You reveal yourself. That's why Prabhupada saying in the starting of Bhagavad Gita introduction, that what change it has got is because with my Bhagavad Gita, so many people have become devotees. By just reading that, that pure, whatever the commentaries by a pure devotee, so many people worldwide are getting changed. Because Arjuna, and Srila Prabhupada is saying, don't desire anything. That's all. You serve the Lord. For his pleasure only we should do everything. When we'll do for his pleasure, Lord will be revealed in his original form. Otherwise, whatever it is, he will accordingly.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining so beautifully. And another thing, the class was very good, Prabhu. In between, you were asking us also, like, we are sleeping or awake. That was very nice. Perfect, like lecturer, no, who is taking the lectures. It was like that. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Your class only gave me so many important points, Mataji, because if your class was not there last week, I don't think I could have, because I was able to link, so thank you so much for your class, Mataji, last week.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Any other question or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna.
Thank you so much again for such a nice class, because it gives us a complete picture how great Lord is and how insignificant we are. That was the best part of it. So I had a question, I don't know, more of a reflection. With whatever you have explained, the understanding is I cannot understand anything. That's what I'm realizing. So it's too vast and not able to conceive in any way. So what I'm thinking is, being so little, it's better probably not to try to understand and just focus on chanting. That's what I'm trying to understand, Prabhuji. Is that good enough, or we should try to understand more?
No, we should have the understanding. With my ability, I cannot understand a lot.
Okay. Okay.
But see, we have to read scriptures, and because Brahma also knows the fact that or rather Shukdev Goswami, when he is presenting that how this creation has happened. Because I often say this, Prabhupada say this, that people say God is great, but how great is God, they don't know. Prabhupada say this. So the thing is, to understand the greatness of the Lord, we have to understand. See, after reading this chapter and previous chapter, which Anu Mataji explained, I really, as you told, no, I'm totally fed. Okay, we insignificant that we cannot understand the Lord. So better, we surrender. But okay, surrender is there. But surrender will only come when we understand the magnanimity of the Lord. So yes, chanting is a way, but to bring that feeling or to bring that focus in the chanting, we need to read scriptures and try to whatever. See, Brahma is not unintelligent. He is the intelligence personified. So he is his body is made up of his intelligence component is more. As like we have more earth component, he has intelligence component more. So the thing is, but so he's not a foolish person who is explaining all this. He wants us to understand that, okay, you cannot understand and see how Lord has done, but it is very difficult to conceive. So without reading all this, reading our scriptures, sometimes I remember when I had my initiation requirements was to do first canto. So I did it very nicely because first canto has a lot of stories. After that, when I came to second canto, I think I spent almost a year to do second canto. I was just getting so bored by, oh, what is this here? Nothing is going in the head, But then again, then somehow I finished it. And when we moved further, third canto is excellent. Fourth canto, like one by one, when the things. So by the time we reach end of the Bhagavatam, then it, it really, just. So as you rightly said, the japa is this thing, Krishna. 100% it is only by the mercy of the Lord we can understand. So why we are doing japa also is we are seeking the mercy of the Lord. So your point is right, but that does not mean that we should not do the other activities, devotional activities. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Mandaram, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So these are the different components of bhakti. So we should do everything. But see what happens is sometimes we like particular component more of bhakti. So some people are more interested in Shravanam. Some people will be more interested in hearing. Some people will be more interested in chanting. Some people in the Archanam, Vandanam, some people are deity worship, they like more, some people like. So, but what we should do is we should do all the components of bhakti. But whatever we like, we can do more. So it will help us to develop the taste in all the components of bhakti. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Prabhuji, very much. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you,
whenever
Prabhu.
the little ego rises, this part of Bhagavatam could be read. It helps to bring it down, probably.
I'm so insignificant. When Lord Brahma is saying, I cannot understand who are we.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Anybody is having any other questions from anyone's side? So thank you very much, Prabhu. So this part of the Bhagavatam description is very, in a way, dry, and it is very, very difficult to understand. So I think that's why Sukadeva Goswami also chose to explain what Lord Brahma explained about the creation. So we are also very fortunate that by your uninterrupted, unalloyed devotion service, we are able to understand this within whatever 1 hour or whatever. So thank you very much, Prabhu. And your PPT presentation was, we can see the effort you have put so much, on giving us, because there is no story. It is all completely description, and it is so dry, and it is very, very, difficult for at least a normal person to understand without intelligence. But with your help and Prabhupada's purport explanation, I think it made a lot of sense. Everybody can understand that, at least how insignificant we are and how great the Lord is. And I think with that, we can do our devotion service or chanting way better. So thank you very much, Prabhu. So as a token of gratitude, we would all chant once Hare Krishna mantra for Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.